at a job and think this is the worst.
Yep. Only every Monday when I have to come back and homeschool.
But then you remember there are people who actually do work in jobs like collecting roadkill or collecting porta potties. I can't even use
Okay, if you hadn't guessed what our show is about today, our show is called Somebody's Gotta Do It. And we are talking about today some of the dirtiest jobs that people have to do that we don't think about.
Right. How about harvesting that fish?
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Or taste testing pet food.
Mhm.
Who does that?
Somebody does.
I guess a human would have to do it because a dog can't break down with.
They can't tell.
Okay, let's keep it pushing, people.
And especially those foods that like the fresh stuff that comes now.
Pet
I don't know the brand, but you know
in the refrigerator.
right, the refrigerated food. That's actual food.
It is.
Yeah, but do they actually taste the
Hey,
what's in the bag?
hey. Now I'm thinking, taste it before y'all blend it together and put them dog things in there.
Well, like she said,
You know why you got chicken here and you got fish there and you got your green peas and your carrots here. So now all this tastes good.
well, like she said, this is about real jobs, real people, and
Real dirty.
real,
Real.
but
real
real gratitude. Because we have to be thankful that we're not the ones doing it.
Well, after researching this, I have the utmost gratitude for people who have to do some of the dirtiest jobs.
Let's think about this. It's messy, it's hard, it's awkward, sometimes stinky.
Ain't no sometimes. You should put that first. Smells, awkward,
Yeah,
hard,
yeah.
hot. Hot and smelly does not go together.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
So
I'm be good.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Taste testers for food, for dog food.
for dogs, yeah. So it's a gentle reminder that your job may suck, but somebody's out there cleaning human barf
Right.
at a theme park with a smile.
I don't think so.
I'm Naty.
I'm Veda, and we're here to thrive. Oh, Lord. Okay. This one's for the unsung heroes. And a gentle reminder, your job may suck, but somebody out there is cleaning up human vomit at a theme park with a smile. You know that's not true. They cleaned it up, but they are not smiling. All right, let's get it started. We want to welcome you to Thrive by the Rising Muse, the show that reminds you that your growth might get messy, just like some of the jobs we're going to talk about today.
Like we said, we're talking about the toughest, dirtiest, most overlooked jobs and the deep gratitude we feel for the people who do them.
Because while we're out here complaining about inboxes and office meetings, Zoom, there are people quietly doing work that we wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole and a prayer.
So today's gratitude has layers. Gratitude for those people, gratitude that we're not the ones doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And above all, gratitude to God for giving different people different assignments. I'm glad that that was not my assignment. But let's be honest, we weren't all built for everything.
No, we were not. No, we were not.
So let's start with a list of jobs that at least the two of us would never do.
Okay. Porta potty, toilet cleaner.
I don't use the potty potties. It's time to go if I have to use the potty potty.
Yeah. If we have to do that, it's time to go home.
Yeah, I can't. So if I can't use it, I can't imagine cleaning
A porta potty cleaner at a summer festival. Who next?
Pet food taster. We were talking about that a little bit ago. I only have fish, and I don't think I have to taste for food.
Because when you take the top off of it, you smell it. Yes. You smell it.
Are you going to taste roasty food?
I don't think so. I do not think so. We're just going to name a couple of jobs because we realize there's so many out there.
Way more than I
This would have to be a whole series, okay? And we don't have that kind of time. You ready? Crime scene cleaner.
You know, that is a because you know, first of all, not all crime scenes are pristine. It's a crime, so usually there usually is blood or guts or whatever, and that already is a mess. But some people find dead people like days or weeks later. Yes, and that is smelly and yucky and yucky and yucky. Now the other thing is sometimes when people die, they empty their bowels. So not only you have all the normal body functions and but you have all the other fluids coming with it.
I saw this movie, 2008 or 2009, called The Cleaner, starring Samuel Jackson, Eva Mendes, Ed Harris, and Kiki Palmer. Samuel L. Jackson. Samuel L. Jackson was a cleaner. He came in crime scenes and cleaned them up. It was amazing to see how it happened. And then you look at the room and it's like, oh my God, it doesn't look like nothing happened. He had chemicals, he had hazmat suits, all kind of stuff. But crime scene cleaner, woo. Yeah, that's rough right there. Now I have witnessed this in my backyard. Septic tank technician. And I ask them every time they come, how do you do this? And the guy really told me, he said, after a while, you don't smell it.
I'm sure that when he gets home, everybody at his house,
everybody know what job he was doing today. They don't have to guess, I'm sure. But yeah, I've watched them take that long tube from the truck. And, they had to have a little, what's it called? Backhoe, front hole. What's it called?
Backhoe.
Backhoe. And they would dig, and then they would hit the concrete slab that's over my septic tank, and then they would, it was an opening, and they put the tube down in there. And
you realize that I always wanted a tiny home, and the only reason that I always get away from the idea is because unless I'm able to have normal plumbing, I cannot think of having a composting toilet because I can't do that.
What about when we went to Georgia Tech?
Yeah.
To the sustainability building, and everything in that building was sustainable.
Yep.
They said that if the building was knocked down, everything could go back into the earth. Everything.
Yeah, and that was the thing because they have something that when you use the bathroom, the liquids go somewhere, but the solids go somewhere else. And they treat the liquids to be water again, which is something that they use in cruise ships too. You didn't know that? Oh yeah, in cruise ships they desalinate,
recycle.
Wait, they desalinate the ocean water, which is a problem, and they also recycle the water and clean it up and then put it back to use.
Well, we won't be cruising anymore. Thank you. I had no idea.
Oh, you didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, I saw a whole special on
Don't stay there.
And the problem is with the desalination is that they're putting some of that fresh water back into the ocean, which is harming the ocean because the ocean is supposed to be salty, but they're putting fresh water that after they recycle back into the ocean.
I have a question.
Yes.
The word you're using, is that the correct word?
Desalinating? I believe it is.
You believe?
That's the word I heard, but I can look it up while you're talking about roadkill collectors.
She's gonna do a little research on salination. We're gonna get back with you.
Can I get my phone?
Okay. The next person that we really, 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 really respect is roadkill collector. Now, I saw a deer on the side of the road the other day, but by the time they get called or by the time they come by, that deer has been there for a few days and gas is filled up in your body.
Nothing.
That's what happened, right?
I know, but
yeah, okay. Gas is built up, and you have to be the one to come out with the shovel and the broom and the
desalination of ocean water.
You just said salination.
No, I said desalination.
And that means what?
Taking the salt out of the water, of the ocean water.
Oh, yeah, because the ocean water is salty.
See, so I knew what I was talking
Salty shit.
Yeah, I don't think that, and I've driven by cats that have been splattered or other type of stuff.
Squirrels and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
So, how about folks that go to Six Flags and their stomachs can't do the rides and things just come out of them? And so people have to clean up their throw ups at carnivals and theme parks.
Oh, people like me. That's why I stay on the ground.
I told you.
I stay on the ground.
The last time I was on a ride, I was 24 years old. And I was wise enough to realize that I was paying somebody to make me dizzy and nauseous. And I realized I was stupid. To each his own. That was my realization. So I go to theme parks. I take the pictures. I hold the purses and the phones.
I look for the funnel cake. Yes.
I take pictures. I hold the backpacks.
And I'll watch
and the cell phone.
But no, I would not go up with you. The last time I was on a roller coaster, I was 12 years old.
Oh, wow.
And our church, Bethel Baptist in Birmingham, we would always do our summer yearly picnics here. And they would charter buses and we come over, and I think the Scream Machine had just come out. And all the kids on the bus were talking about doing it, riding the Scream Machine. And, I didn't want to be different. Right. So
12 peer pressure.
Yeah, it was too much pressure. Right now, I don't care. Okay?
So but, you screamed a lot?
Honey, when I got in that roller coaster, I said, Lord, if you let me live and I get off of this, I promise you I would never get on a roller coaster again. And I've kept that promise. I'm going on 62. So it was about 50 years ago.
The only thing I do now are the merry-go-rounds with the baby. That's about it.
Now, they do have a little mine shaft at Six Flags. It's a small
roller coaster.
I'll
watch the baby do it.
No, the baby can't get on it.
I am not doing that.
It only has one deep, and it's not even that deep, but I don't do it.
I'll do the merry-go-round. And I used to do the bumper cars. Right now with my back, I wouldn't even do that because they'll have to pull me out of there. I don't know how am I going to make it.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's not going to work.
Yeah, I'm glad you know your limitations.
I do.
And so do I.
I do.
Ooh, what's next?
How about cleaning after New Year's Eve on Times Square or here in Georgia, the peach drop? That one may not be, but it may still be nasty. You don't know what people do.
I know it's a lot of streamers, a lot of paper, a lot of, cans
people are
and all
eating and so there's cup and food and other stuff too.
Yeah, but I don't think you're going to run right into it like you would if you were on Bourbon Street.
Okay.
We went to New Orleans one year for our 20th class reunion. We were 3 blocks from Bourbon Street walking across the train track, and I smelled Bourbon Street.
And you were not smelling bourbon.
I'm like, what is that?
And it was not bourbon smell.
And he said, those are the people who come outside the bar, drink too much, get sick, whatever. They throw up on the street and go back. What? And we're going there. It was unpretty. It was very unpleasant.
How about pest control?
Oh,
Look, let me explain something to you. When I was a child, my mom and I started screaming. There was a mouse about this big. It had gotten caught in a trap. So it was not even that it was running around. One of those glue traps. And we started screaming because neither of us were going to pick that up. And it was about this big. And one of the neighbors, it was one of the kids from the neighbor who came and got it. So I can't do pest control. Ants, I don't care more for spiders, but I hate roaches. Not afraid of them. You're like, just ew. I can't do rodents. I've already told Mason he's not gonna have guinea pigs, he's not gonna have hamsters, mice, none of that. If I have limited a lot of my budget in the last 2 years, I still pay for pest control. Mm-hmm. They need to come every 3 months and do what they need to do. Because if I ever see anything with four little legs, the thought of it. Or more legs. I'll be staying at your house until they show me the dead body because I'm not going to trust that they took it.
Well, you keep doing that pest control, so let it stay at your address. Okay.
Yeah, I would be somewhere else because the house is theirs. Until they show me the dead body because they can't even tell me, oh, we got it. No, I have to see that it's dead and gone. Otherwise, I won't trust it. Can't do it.
Yeah, that's very, very interesting, pest control. Now, pest control, remember when my brother was catching all of those cats? There were cats in his neighborhood, and he had bought several traps, the iron traps, that when they went in and then the flap came down. And he would call animal control, and they would come and get the cats. It was, I think, 10, 15 of them.
Well, at least they came to get them. I was told here that the neighbors called for some of the stray cats, and the cats around here are so aggressive, animal control won't come get them.
Because they're feral.
Yes. But Mason can pet them.
Yeah, they know who's coming to destroy them and who's coming to love on them. They know.
Yeah. Yeah, can't do it.
This is a doozy. Dead fish harvester.
The people who clean the rivers and the ponds from there.
You think? And then when fish die, they rise.
Yeah.
They floating on top of the water. So that already smells. No. No, sorry.
It's not my gift.
Dead fish harvesters. And I did read about when a fishing boat, they were harvesting salmon, and all the pins came loose. I guess they had pulled up a few too many salmon, and the pins came loose, and the net came loose, and then the salmon just went everywhere.
Not fun.
That's not fun. No. We're talking about tens of thousands of pounds
of dead salmon.
Well, they're alive, kicking in the net.
Oh, well, that's.
But if they're out of the water, so
they were dead. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that wasn't good at all. No, that's another job I cannot do. But this one, mad diver.
God bless them. Because toxic stuff, glow in the dark, nuclear waste, biohazards, and you go in there. I know you have all this stuff, but if some of that breaks, you are toast. It's not my ministry. It's just not my calling.
No. I just cannot see myself wrapping up in all of that and putting on a helmet and
scuba diving for fun. Yeah.
I'm not a diver anyway, so I would be out of my element.
That's what I say. I think that's not my calling. Just a thought.
But then you see a scuba diver right now in the Hudson. They're looking for the other parts of the helicopter that crashed last week.
Yeah.
And every day they have scuba divers going out there because they gotta.
Well, and every time there's an accident or a crime or something, you just reminded me of this lady in California that died, and they accused her husband. Well, he's in jail. Peterson,
Like
Casey
Peterson, her
Peterson.
husband's
They
died.
had divers in the marina trying to find her body, and they only found her torso, and it was because it washed away, washed out. It was not because the divers found it, but they were looking. So sometimes they are looking for evidence or dead bodies. Think about Robert, who the famous guy that he used to kill people and put them in bags. Well, at least he did that with his neighbor. He cut him in pieces and put him in bags and threw him in the water. Then he claimed self-defense, so he did it. Robert Durham. Robert Durham. He killed his landlord, his neighbor. He cut him up and put him in bags. Threw the bags in the water. Somebody dove those bags up. But he claimed self-defense, so he didn't. Self-defense. He alleged. I cut them up before they cut me up. No, he was. I think the actual murder, he got free because of that. But then I think he got body mutilation, whatever the thing is for that. He got later in jail because he had killed his wife and his best friend, but he didn't cut those up.
You know what's wild to me?
Yeah.
People actually choose these jobs. It's not like you wake up and, oh, I'm a dead fish harvester. No. How did I become a hazmat diver?
Oh no. First of all, you need to learn how to dive and then be brave enough to go in toxic waste.
Tell me this, how do you apply for a job to be vomit cleanup crew at a carnival or theme park? I just want to know.
I have never seen that posting.
On an application?
Never seen it. I think you just
maybe when they say other.
Look, that whole line of other duties and supply, it's always too much. Yeah, other duties, that's too broad. It's usually some teenager that works there, and it's like, however, in cruise ships, going back to cruise ships, there is a dedicated crew for that kind of.
That's all they do.
That's all they do.
So when you don't take your motion sickness pills a week before you go on a cruise, like I did, and I was one of the few that did not get sick, but I saw my husband running every time I turned around.
Yeah, not fun.
That was the best advice I took. Start taking your motion sickness pill, your Dramamine,
Early.
a week before you go on the cruise.
I did that the last time, and I was good. And I even had some natural ginger ones that I found, and I had those too.
But then we were on a cruise, and a storm came. Yeah. And the ship was literally rocking. And I saw people running. Some of them made it to the room. Some of them made it to the public bathroom. Some of them didn't. I'm just glad it wasn't me. It wasn't me.
And I'm glad I was not a crew cleaning person too.
Yeah. And I really appreciate the people that took care of our cabin, because when you come back, it's like, ooh, it's brand new again. Yes. And then they
had to deal with that.
Make those little cute animals with the towels and stuff and put sunglasses on. It was just.
Yeah, but when they came into your room, they were not feeling right.
No, they weren't. And believe me, if your room was just a little disorganized and not just truly messed up, they loved that one. Just a little disorganized. Okay. Next.
Well, let's talk in general about nurses and teachers and morticians and OBGYNs and proctologists and podiatrists.
Okay.
We're going to talk later more about the nurses and the teachers and the morticians, but OBGYNs, proctologists, and podiatrists.
You really gotta have a passion for what you do.
Yes, because guess what? You go to medical school. You can be anything you want. You go to medical school, you can be a general doctor because all doctors go to general medical school, then they specialize. So you specialize as an OBGYN on delivering babies and yeast infections.
I didn't know she was going to say that.
Well, ain't that the truth?
just say the things that the OBGYN have to
It
take
has to
care
do
of.
with. Yeah. You know, and that, and, and the proctologist does the same in other parts.
How do you decide?
We should then interview one and find that out.
We're gonna have to find
We
one.
have to
If
find
you're a proctologist,
Yes.
hit us up.
The Rising Muse, therisingmuse@gmail.com. Shoot us a line.
That's interesting.
Podiatrist. People don't look.
Feet. We didn't get to pick our feet, okay? It's not like we were in
It's
a
not-
line and say, I want these
But
feet.
it's
I
not
want
about the feet being cute.
It's not about the structure, it's about the
Hygiene.
hygiene of your feet.
You know,
Okay, look, while she's getting it together, people, when you know you're going to the doctor,
wash up. Thank you.
clean your feet,
Can
okay?
you imagine a construction worker coming straight from work
That's not good.
to the podiatrist?
That's not good, okay? But really, if you at least wash them this morning,
Shouldn't be too bad.
it should be
Well,
water in your eyes when you take your boot off.
Can you change your socks before you enter the office? At least there's something. I don't know.
I know who don't think about that.
The people who do that.
Men, sorry. I love you guys, but
Well, and I was looking at video. Somebody made a survey on TikTok. I kid you not. And they were talking about if people wash their feet and their behinds. And they said that they wash and they just let the water and the soap get there. So basically, they're hoping gravity takes care of those things.
now that's what you call on a wing and a prayer. Okay.
But I think that they should not rest on gravity to do the job. They should just clean it up, including your behind. Because no, you can't just let water
Look, people,
just.
when you go to the doctor for specialty things, make sure that that specialty
The special area. Exactly.
is clean.
Yes.
Okay, come on.
Yeah.
Why they get paid so much? It's how's it do? I should have been a doctor.
No. And I will tell you why. Because I wanted to be a doctor. And then I wanted to be my first thing was I wanted to be a pediatrician. Almost to high school, I said, I'm going to go to medical school. And then I read that you have to take this anatomy class. Yes. And one of the things they give you on the first day is a dead body. Here, this is John. He's all yours. And you dissect John throughout your year. And can't do it.
Well, I like the way you explained that, but they don't give you a body on the first day.
And the 10th day was not going to be any better. It was in the 10th day or the 20th day was not going to make it any better. Yeah, so no. Because I did the frog and I did the pig in middle school and some parts of high school, and I was okay. A whole person, you have to draw the line sometimes.
Yeah, I drew the line with the pig and the frog.
No, I did the frog and the pig, and I was okay.
My mom was a science teacher.
I just had to do the frog less than a month ago with the 4-year-old because his co-op had frog dissection. I did that in middle school and high school. He did it in preschool.
I wasn't there that day on purpose.
And he was so happy trying to pull the tongue out of the frog. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about education, teachers.
What about?
I can't be a teacher. And I knew that. Let me tell you when I learned that. Before I entered into a master's degree program, I thought of becoming a special education teacher. I took about 9 classes in special education. I did not come back to school for 2 years. And then I jumped into my master because my career was psychology. So I figured special ed was, no, I can't do it. And it's not because of special education itself. It's homeschooled by the grace of God.
That's why I was looking at you, because you said I can't teach. We teach every day.
Yeah, but they're mine. They're your grandchildren and my child. is totally different than 28 other kids that I cannot look you in the eye
Well,
and
if
say,
you don't like
"Stop it."
them, you just don't like them. I don't care how we related. If you don't like them, you just don't like
I
them.
can say to my child things I cannot say to other children.
That is true.
So, I can ground my child and put him on timeout. I can't do that with Susie and little Johnny.
Susie, I thought you said sushi.
No, no, Susie and little Johnny. I can't do. I can't do that. We have three, and it's two teachers, and we have new gray hairs every day. Imagine you by yourself with 28 or 32 kids, and I've seen videos. And if I was, and I do. I can't say I can't teach because I voluntarily do a uh, preschool class every Tuesday with three kids. So I do can teach, and they're preschoolers, but there's three, and I have capacity up to five. I said after the fifth one, somebody wants to come up. No, you have to get in a list until somebody gets out. It's those three, and I am tired every time I finish. Even if it was preschoolers, do you remember the movie Kindergarten Cup?
Yes.
That's what comes to mind.
Yes.
Because again, I can do one, I can do three, I can do 5. More than
But
that,
when you got 28 to
I
30.
think. And then again, my little class, their parents are there. So if little Susie goes crazy, her mama takes care of her. If I have my 28, I'm alone with them little takes.
Sure.
Yeah, can't do it.
Now look, let's say you have 30 kids in the room. 15 of them are hungry.
Right.
Ooh. And the other 15 are traumatized. And you're trying to teach long division with a smile on your face. Can you imagine that?
I know it.
My mother was a science teacher, 8th grade science teacher for 38 years. God bless her. She even taught me when I was in 8th grade. And she was the toughest teacher I had. I'm sure. Yeah. See, back then, you could beat you.
And you can beat all people's kids.
And we could drive. We had to drive 30 miles to school where she taught. And they allowed the teachers to bring their children. So 30 miles to school, 30 miles home. You have a test in science that day. What do you think is going to happen in those 30 miles to school? She's going to grill you. Yes. And when you get it wrong, where can you go except into the door when she punched you?
I went to
I'm not saying my mother was violent, but she was tough.
I was never beaten in school. Well, that's not true, but that's a whole other story. But in middle school, I was in Catholic school. And those nuns.
I heard those nuns were tough.
And even the teachers that were not nuns had these yardsticks, and they would beat you in front of everybody in class.
I think I had you beat. When I was in the 8th grade, we were learning the metric system. And now I know why the United States does not know the metric system. So my mom's teaching me the metric system. And she brought home like 3 or 4 yardsticks. I didn't know what she was bringing them home for, but I found out. When I couldn't learn it, she started utilizing the this is not confession. My mom is in heaven, been there for 9 years.
You can't put him in jail anymore.
But that was just a time that I grew up in.
Well, she was trying to get you to learn the system by symbiosis.
No.
You got the hit with the stick, and then the metric system.
It wasn't even that clever.
Oh.
I got so tired one night I turned around and said, look, you might as well just beat me because I am not going to learn this. And one thing I found out that night never to do. Do not invite your Black Southern mother who is an educator and a science teacher too. Don't tell them just going to beat me because I'm not going to get it. If I had known that before I said it, I never would have said it.
You really were brave because my mother was not a teacher, but I would have never invited her to hit me.
I don't know what happened to me that night, but I tell you what, I didn't make that mistake again.
You lost your mind because I would have never invited my mother to hit me because she did it without invitation.
Before I even realized what I said that come out of my mouth, and I'm like, "Ooh."
And like I said, and back in the days, you were not only able to beat your children, but other people's children.
Grandfather's sister-in-law was the vice principal of my elementary
You were
school.
in so much trouble.
Yes, my teacher, Miss Garrett, second grade, God bless your heart. She took a fan belt from the car and cut it and wrapped it around her hand, and she had about 6, 7 inches. And she would have us hold out our hand, and we could beat with fan belt. We didn't know at that time it was child abuse.
Well, what I remember when I said at the beginning I was never beaten in school, but then I remember, I think it was second grade. Well, there was twice. One was when I started second grade, that very first day, the teacher went around with a ruler and hit everybody in the room, just down the road. And she said, "This is just to set the tone.
I will hit
I will hit you." She hit everybody. She didn't even know our names, but she hit everybody. The other one, I don't remember what I did because I was in first or second grade. It was the principal. She had this big ring, like a graduation ring, but it was big, and she would hit us in the top of our heads when we did
Ow.
ow, and put us on our knees.
Oh my, when you gonna drop to your knees after being hit in the head with a ring? I mean, look, one day I got 4 whippings. I was born 1963. You do the math.
I think we've been abused.
I had 4 whippings.
On the same day?
Yes. One in class with Miss Garrett, who told my great aunt, who was the vice principal, got a whipping in her office.
What did you do?
I don't remember, but I'm still thinking today, whatever I did, it wasn't worth all that. I was a good child.
Did you kill somebody?
No. It was something to do with I didn't do my homework or whatever, and I was like, but then when I get to grandma's house after school, she had heard about it. I got spanked by her. I'm sorry, I lied. Please forgive me. It was 5 whoopings that day, not 4. It was 3 with grandma. And then when mama got off work,
she had to do her part.
Yeah, and then that. So I had 5 whoopings in one day. That's when other people could whip your children, and then they tell you later, like, I will whip you and talk to your parents about it later. That's how I grew up.
Yeah. I think we were abused as children.
Oh, we were because of, the child abuse hotline came out when I was in 12th grade.
Yeah. My mom was.
It was too late.
My mom usually said, "You can call the line. People come to pick you up in about 20 minutes. That means I have 19 to beat you
Mom
up."
used to say, look, after I whip you, I will drop you off on these steps, okay?
So that was not.
You ain't got to call nobody. I will take you myself. But the thing is about teacher, you are in charge of 28 to 30 kids. And how many classes do you have a day? That's a lot of kids that you are responsible for during the day.
I'm telling you, homeschooling alone, and I end up with a headache most of the days.
Yeah. Yeah, and see, homeschooling, you see your kids in school, but then after school, when you walking through your house in your house dress, they're still there. Why are you here? Grandma, I live here. That needs to change, okay? Because grandma needs her day off, those special days from school, President's Day, all those days. And then last week was spring break.
With their children right there. Why?
Yeah. Thank God. But the 13-year-old went to Florida. The 4-year-old was with you.
Yes, he was with.
The 12th grader who will be graduating next month, he got to work every day last week instead of part time. He got to work full time.
Yeah. What about nurses?
Oh my God. Nurses come straight from God.
Yes.
Nurses and caregivers. Because you have to have a special heart. See, you could be a nurse and be mean.
Yeah, that's because you did it for the wrong reason. Yeah,
the wrong reason. Okay, I like the paycheck, but I don't like what I have to do to get paid. But the ones who were called,
Yeah,
uh,
they're saints.
They are because things that happen in the hospital, like, oh my God, I'm sorry. And they are like, it's okay.
Well, and they are the actual ones that take care of people in the hospital because the doctors comes for 2 minutes, tell you what's going on, they leave.
The nurses run.
The nurses are the ones who are there with you, all the time.
Yes, yes, they are. And nurses are, I have the utmost respect. Utmost respect for nurses. Yes. I have a cousin and my aunt who's retired, both retired, but they used to work at the VA. They were VA nurses. Yes. And you that see was a lot back in the 70s.
You see a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, you see a lot at the VA. And that's why I say you got to have a heart for people, for wanting people to get well, for wanting to be a part of the team that gets them well.
Well, and on the other end, like when my mom passed and I couldn't make it to her, some nurse was with her until the last minute.
Yeah.
Sometimes when people don't have families or the family can make it on time. And even if the family was there, we had to take life support of my uncle. They didn't just disconnect everything and left. The nurse was there until the bitter end. So yeah, they are there in the most critical moments of people's lives and end of living.
Yeah, they are truly angels here on earth. Angels on earth. Yes, yes, yes. And their nurses, of course, are, you have changed the diaper and managing panic attacks and giving compassion. When you have nothing left to give, you find something and still be compassionate because these people are sick. And unfortunately, come to the hospital, some are mean. Yeah, but there's some people that just mean even when they're not in pain. So when they're in pain, they're even worse. And then you're like, okay, Lord, you tested me today, right? And it's something. So yeah, we have the utmost respect for teachers
And nurses.
and nurses. Yes, yes, yes.
What about morticians? I already told you I couldn't do it because I couldn't do that anatomy class.
Yeah, morticians meet families in their hardest moments of life.
That is a ministry.
And they bring dignity to your loved one's death. This is not a job.
No.
This is a ministry.
It is, definitely.
You have got to be dedicated to what you do. I don't care if you just stumped your toe at your desk or whatever. When the people walk into the funeral home, you can't meet them at the door with, it's like, may I help you? And there are people with a mortician voice, it just.
I'm telling you, when I went to do my mom's arrangements, that lady, God bless her, she made that whole process so much easier.
Yes.
My mom had everything arranged, which is really great, but even then, the patients, question, we were not like emotional or nothing, but they so much respect, so much dignity, so much patience. Oh, it was amazing. Within the situation, it was really good.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And when my mom passed, when I got home to see her, she was already at the funeral home, and that was my first time seeing her on a lot. And everything was quiet. We were at the conference table, and everybody, crying, but soft crying. And they came in and they said, Veda, she's ready. My aunt from California, her sister and I, we hadn't seen. We went in that room. I saw my mom laying there. They told me I screamed. I kept screaming her name. I was on the floor. They had a nurse there in scrubs. They must have called her. It's like, okay, we have someone that's going to make arrangements, and some people that hadn't seen her yet. That lady was behind us with her scrubs on. She was helping us. And just you definitely are a special person to do that. To do that, yes, that is something because that's the time that people they need understanding. Yes. They need for you to say it's okay, it's understandable, whatever. Because no matter how intelligent you are, when you see your mama on the slab, education means nothing. Oh, sophistication means nothing. That's my mama. Yes, that is my mama. Yeah. And it was rough. So yes. I have the utmost respect for them as well. And when I got my degree, I had talked to the head of the funeral home about being a comfort counselor. I'm not good for that either. We haven't talked in a while. No. No, I know I'm good at listening and counseling for other areas, but I realized that that was not my gift when I was about 18, 19, and my neighbor had her grandmother passed away. Out of all the people, they designated me to break the news. And I'm ashamed because I didn't sit here about, oh, in my defense, I was 18, 19. I had not taken psychology 101. But it's just not in me. If I'm going to give you bad news, I'm just going to tell you. Rip the band-aid off. That's me. And that's what I did. She got home. She was in the driveway. And she got out of the car and said, "Your grandma died." And she started screaming and almost fell out. And her husband was with her, so he caught her. Walked away. I delivered the message. That's all I had to do. My job. And that is truly great for what we get ready to go into. What gratitude really looks like. What does it look like? So, what does gratitude look like when you realize someone else is doing the work that makes your life easier? Doesn't mean just saying thank you or tipping someone. It's showing respect for them. It's not treating the flight attendant like she's your butler or the janitor like he is your servant. It's recognizing there's a person behind the job and being really, truly grateful. Truly, truly grateful. It's praying for those people. It's recognizing your privilege. It's thanking God that your gift doesn't have to look like someone else's burden. And we're going to talk about spiritual, intentional, and introspective. Gratitude is layered. Gratitude is humble. Gratitude is perspective. And gratitude is a form of worship. Let's bring it home with this. Our scriptures tells us that we are all members of one body, and no part is more important than the other. Yeah. No part is more important than the other. And yes, somebody's got to be the heart. And yes, somebody's got to be the liver. Somebody's got to be the arms. Somebody's got to be whatever part of the body. We all come together to make one body. Somebody has to be the colon. Somebody has to. I work. Those were the dirty jobs we were talking about. You leave me the dirty job. Yes. And we need all of them. We do. Because if we don't have a colon, we die. Just like we don't have a liver. And you don't have a backbone, you can't stand up. There you go. All right. So today's takeaway. Just because someone's job isn't shiny doesn't mean it's not sacred. And just because we don't see it doesn't mean that it's not saving us daily. We take a lot for granted. Yes. On a daily basis. We take a lot. You know who I think? When I'm outside and the garbage man's coming, a recycle man, I will make sure I wave at them and I say, thank you. Yeah. Thank you, because I want them to know, hey, I'm not saying you better pick up my garbage because that's what you do. No, I'm saying thank you that there's a position that you applied for and got it to pick up my garbage. We haven't done cookies in a long time. But when we were baking cookies, I used to save them some for the garbage man. And the recycle guy, Mason, would take them out there. Yes. Oh, yeah. Yes.
We used to do that.
I appreciate my servers at the restaurant. And, it used to be 10%.
Yeah, now
It's not even 10. I think it starts at 15
yeah.
and up percent. And when whenever my husband takes me out and he's paying, he always lets me do the
tip.
put the tip and everything because he's so okay. And I'm like, these people work.
Yes.
This is their livelihood. They don't get paid what they need to per hour, so their tips have to make up for it. Now if you just have somebody that's mean and lazy or whatever, that's different. But I make a point. I even write on the receipt a happy face, great service, have a great day, because I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
So here's your Thrive Challenge for this week. Notice the people behind the scenes, the cleaners, the servers, the collector, the comforters, the ones we usually walk past.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then we want you to thank them. Okay? Thank them. Not performatively, not performing, oh, I thanks. No, I really genuinely appreciate you, not on Instagram, but in person and sincerely. Okay, everybody doesn't have to see me thanking you. Okay.
And thank God for putting them in their role.
Yes.
Thank God for giving you your role.
Yes.
Because we wouldn't be able to carry everything.
No, we were not. No, we were not. And these jobs that we talked about today, I would be homeless. If this is what I choose,
I would be next to you.
Yeah, we just be on the street. No, I just go get in. So we are saluting the people behind the scenes, the people that make everything work, the people that do the dirty jobs. We want to let you know today we appreciate you. We appreciate you. We really do. And we thank you for everything that you do. But we have to be grateful. Yes. We have to. Okay, get your nose out of the clouds. Look at who you're seeing, who's in front of you. Okay? And then if they do something wrong, we the first ones, not we per se.
Right.
But in general. In general, people the first ones, complain. Let's see you do. Okay, and people have to do their jobs and they have pressures on them and they have people who have lost jobs and family members and people got to move in together and 10, 15, 25 people in a house, because the way everything is going. Yeah. So, yeah, I know when the person came to do my in the backyard.
Your septic tank?
Septic tank. Oh my God.
I'm sure you were grateful.
I'm so sorry. I apologize to that man. He was like, why are you apologizing?
I understand.
But you have to appreciate people, okay? And we want to thank you. Thank you for spending the time with us. Hopefully you laughed with us. We gave you something to think about. And hopefully it made you want to go out and just tell people who served you, whether you see them or don't see them, tell them thank you. I appreciate you. We hope today gave you a new lens on how we see each other and a deeper appreciation for the hidden heroes all around us.
Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Remember, we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, so we need your help with that. Follow us on all social media platforms. We are at the Rising Muse on all.
If you are,
go ahead. Good.
You want to?
No, you can go.
If you are in a domestic violence situation and you really need to talk to someone, please call 800-799-7233, or you can text 887-888. And please make sure that you are in a safe place when you're reaching out for help.
However, if you are experiencing a mental health crisis, please dial 988. And if someone you love is in crisis, dial 911 or take them to the nearest emergency room. We love you all. Stay grounded. Did Let me do that again. We really love you. Stay grounded. Stay rising. Stay grateful.
And until next time, don't forget to thrive.
Have a blessed day.
Bye bye.
Bye.